You're listening to the Chronicles of Living podcast, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. Now let's talk.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop on the road of life. You can't stop. You can't stop moving. Keep move. Keep that pace. You switching to gear. Let's go as we climb up the hill. Don't slow down. Pedal a little more. The mind is working. It's in control. Your wheels are turning a little more. Going higher another notch. Keep it steady. Don't watch the clock go round. Cycle.
Greetings, my visionary dreamers. I know that was a little crack in my voice, but it's okay. This is Adionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from yourself, from the world. Listen up.
Learning, always turning later. Cannot stop the time. Always merging into lanes that better suit us as we ride. Switch it up. Switching to gear, let's go. As we climb up the hill, don't slow down. Pedal a little more. The mind is working, it's in control. Your wheels are turning a little more. Going higher another notch. Keep it steady, don't watch the clock go round.
As I said, this is Adionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from yourself, saving you from the world, from drowning in some real bullshit. And you're listening to Chronicles of Living podcast show, the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. You know it's normal, folks. We just do the damn thing the best way we can. And today, we're going to talk about, because hopefully you're talking with me, even though I can't hear you. But today's topic came pretty much at, I would say, 6:20. I had a topic prepared, but as I said, sometimes spirit just switch up on me, and I just got to go with the flow. So, the topic is be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Now, y'all know I said this is the show for everyday people doing everyday things and living everyday life. And I always say where we talk about things. And where the we comes in is these topics come from different conversations that I've had, whether it be from the past, the future, the present. Oh, not the future, can't be in the future. But the past or the present. Let me say that. And sometimes, as I'm going throughout my day, I will just wind up having a conversation with someone, and my spirit will feel the need to talk to y'all about it. So I'm really talking to people. It's not just my stories. This is just stories, real life stuff. And that is very important for us to learn how to be patient with ourselves. I mean, when you really think about it, I think that's something that we don't think about. We don't hold ourselves accountable. Sometimes we're, because of life is such a hustle and a bustle, as they used to say. Everything is like now. We're living in this microwave world that things have to be done fast. We have to have things fast, right now, right when I think about it, right when I want it. And I am so guilty of that. When I have something on my mind, or when I'm ready to go somewhere or do something, I get on it right away. I get on it right away. And that's how I live my life. I'm not expecting everybody else to live their life. I mean, I know that in some things, sometimes we need patience, and sometimes we have to go right when it's time, when we have it on our head to do. It's like, being an entrepreneur. A lot of times people want the bigger picture. They want the bigger aspect of it. They want the money. They want to travel. They want everything that comes with owning a successful business. But yet, as they're going through the process, they find it hard to be patient. A lot of times we find it hard to be patient because we feel like, and I'm speaking from the entrepreneur sense, we feel like we're doing all this hard work. We have this vision in our head, and we just can't wait to see it come to pass. So sometimes we take shortcuts because we're trying to get to that point that is completed. And sometimes when we take those shortcuts, we do whatever it is that we want to accomplish a disservice because we miss little things in between that could have made the outcome better, And I was talking to what made me change this topic because just before I was about to sit down and write a couple of bullet points for the topic I was going to talk about, I had a conversation with someone that I'm helping out with their project, and he's young, so he's very energetic, very ambitious, and he so reminds me of myself when I was that age. And I was telling him, well, we were talking about, things are not for yourself. Some things that happen to you, they're not always for you. And I had a show way back about that. The things we go through, it's not for us. Sometimes it's for somebody we're going to meet down the line so that we can save them from the pitfalls of life as much as we can, or as much as they want to listen. Let's say that. The things that we go through in life can help people take shortcuts. I tell my kids that all the time. I'm going to give you a shortcut to this situation, And majority of the times they listen, and sometimes they just got to see for themselves, and then they got to come back and say, you know what, I should have listened. But this is why in the years of our 20s, that's when we make the most mistakes, I think. Majority of us make the most mistakes in our 20s because we come out of high school and we're like, I'm grown. That's our favorite line. I'm grown. But we don't really want to pay them grown bills, do we? So we get out there in the world and we think we could just continue living life the way we want to, in which we can, but we just have to learn to be smart about it. We have to learn to be more logic and have more patience with ourselves so that we can analyze different things, different people before we connect to them, before we get in a situation that is like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? How can I get out of this? Patience means endurance. It means endurance through the things that's painful, that is annoying you, that, you just like, I can't take this no more. And I could remember years ago, I told y'all on another show how I used to always pray, and that's still my prayer actually, that God bless me with enhance my wisdom, knowledge, discernment, and patience with people and things, and understanding of people and things. That has been my prayer since I don't even know when. And each part, I can see the growth within me. The patience came at a very painful rate. I mean, when it was dealing with people, when I said I want patience with things and people, and I've went through so many things with people that I just wanted to just scream at so many different times in my life. And I realize now that was something I had to go through so that I can have patience. I didn't realize it until later on in life, you know, after all the different um, chapters of drama and just stuff, with people. And not to say I don't still go through things with people, but the difference is I have patience now. I have patience with myself, and I have patience for people now. Because once you learn how to have patience with yourself, you can understand and you can have more patience with people. And this is what it's all about. The more patience we have, the more successful we become. And again, I'm not relating success with money. I'm saying the more successful we'll become in our relationships, with our jobs, our careers, um, learning new skills, with our kids. Patience is for everything when you really think about it. You got to have patience if your kid is not doing so well in school and you're like having to sit there with them to do their homework, and you already did 8 hours or 12 hours of work. You're tired. And then you got to cook dinner, have the dinner ready for them. And then you still got to work with them and do their homework. But yet, they're not getting the homework. You got to have patience for that, or you could lose it. And I'm sure some of y'all that's listening have lost it. And sometimes you could just be like, I know me. If I was really, really tired, I'd be like, you know what? We're going to get up early and we'll finish this in the morning. That's better than losing it and making your kid feel like, you know, they're stupid, or just that you're aggravated with them. That's not good. So that's why patience is so important to have, with your relationship. You got to have patience because maybe your spouse might not get what you feel, or, the things that you expect them to do. A lot of times we just got to tell a person, like, listen, I really would love if you would do X, Y, Z. If you would take the trash out before the last minute. If you would help me maintain the house. You can't walk around thinking that they just going to get it one day. because you want to pick up stuff with an attitude, and you think they're supposed to catch on that you have an attitude because you want them to help them around the house. No, you tell them, and then you have patience, and you keep telling them, but you don't tell them in a nasty way. You give them gratitude for the things that they do, and then you tell them, or you say to them, I really like the way you help me set the table. But I would really love also if after we set up the table, you help me after dinner with the dishes. I mean, when you give people gratitude first and thanks first, they're willing, they're more open, and you have patience with them that they're not going to get it the first time. They might not get it the second or the third time. But if this is somebody that you love, eventually they'll get it. And if they don't get it, then you need to focus on the things that they do get. And this is how you develop patience with people. You don't put everything on certain things that you might want as the end all. You shift when things need to be shifted. You shift your focus, your feelings. If a certain thing that you want out of this person is just not working out, you're just not getting it. As long as it's not something that's real detrimental to you. But if it's something simple as taking out the trash before the last minute, come on. Give people a little room, You got to have patience with yourself when you're learning a new skill. We all have to learn. And this goes back to when we were babies. We didn't know what patience meant. So we walked, we was potty trained whenever we felt we were ready to be potty trained. Because we didn't know what patience meant. We are a baby. So we're doing things at our own pace. And most of the time, our parents were fine with that. Sometimes some parents would lose their patience. Like, listen, you need to go to the potty. I did lose my patience with my foster kid, but she was 3, okay? She should have been potty trained before she came to me. But nevertheless, we worked through it. And I developed patience. And she wound up being potty trained before she left the house. But things come along throughout our life to test our patience. Different situations, different people, different issues will come along our path and test our patience to just see how far we've come, how much we've grown in that area of our life. When you have patience, that saves you from so many mistakes, so many failures. Patience can save you from that because you're laying back. You have time to really look at the full picture as to what you are getting ready to get yourself into. You can have time to reflect on things that you have been through in your life that might have been connected to that same situation or that looks like the same situation that you're about to get yourself into. I'm telling you, I really didn't have patience when I was in my 20s. Some of maybe early 30s. And when I started that prayer, actually, I wasn't really 30 before I started. I think it was I was my early 30s. It was my early 30s when I started that prayer about God blessing me with more patience. So obviously, if I felt the need to say that, I realized that there was something within me I needed to work on. I realized that because I'm such a spontaneous person and I'm a like now person, if I have a thought or an idea in my head, I'm ready to work on it ASAP. But what I learned with me gaining patience, I've learned to write things down. I've learned to write my ideas down as they come to me because they come to me so much. I mean, I can remember a time in my life when I was like, oh God, please shut it off. No more ideas right now. No more visions. No more dreams. Let me get this first five out, you know? And it's just like, I felt like I was just a dream machine. I would just go to sleep and wake up with this new thing, this new idea, this new dream. And I wound up being all over the place, trying to do 5 things at one time. I'm still kind of like that. It's just that I've learned how to have patience with myself and pace myself so that everything that I have on my mind, every idea, every vision, every dream, at some point in my life, it will come to pass. And sometimes it might not come to pass the way you envisioned it. So just understand that everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to. And I know you might say, well, Adionne, I lost a lot of money invested in my dreams, or, you know, I really had a bad failure. I lost a lot of friends beyond chasing my dreams and my visions. No, that was supposed to happen. I've lost friends. I've lost a lot of money. In fact, investing in my dreams and my visions put me in debt quite a few times, you know. But I can sit here and tell you it was supposed to happen that way because I've learned so much. I've learned patience. I've learned how to be more logical about things. And this is all a part of our growth. This is all a part of it, you know? Having patience with yourself. Don't get upset with yourself if things don't go your way. If a person don't act the way you want them to. If your relationship don't pan out to be what you want it to be. Sometimes your relationship don't pan out the way you want it to be because that might not be the person that you're supposed to be with. Or if it's the person that you're supposed to be with, maybe you both need to grow. And then maybe you'll come together later on in life. I've seen it happen on several occasions, you know, and the people are better off later on in life. So you got to have patience with yourself and understand that we all have our rate that we grow. We all have certain levels in our lives that certain things have to happen to us so that we can start learning how to just pace ourselves, to be a little bit more careful with our decisions. This is why patience with yourself is so important, and not being upset or disappointed with yourself for making decisions that might have put you in a bad way. That is all for you to learn from, no matter how bad it is. And I know a lot of people say, how can you say that? Sometimes horrible things happen. You might have been abused, you might have been molested. You really have to have patience with yourself to heal. You might be diagnosed with something, some type of illness that, you got to really fight for to live. You have to learn to be patient with yourself. and know that things will pan out the way it's supposed to. And as unfortunate as this may sound, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. But understand that we are all here for a reason. We are all here for a purpose, no matter when that time comes. We all know that we are here for whether it be a short time or a long time. And this is why, while we're here living, breathing, healthy, and if you're not all the way healthy, being thankful for the health that you have and working on becoming better. This is the reason why we cannot take ourselves for granted. We have to be careful with the energy that we put out to other people. We have to be careful with what type of energy we put out. Because again, I talked about on one of my shows how energy is everything. Well, I've talked about that on a lot of my shows because energy is everything. What you put out is what you're going to get back. So you have to be patient and not look down on people if they don't get it. If they don't get what you're trying to teach them or what you're trying to tell them. If they don't get it, they just don't get it. It's just not their time to get it. It might click later. They might go home and then the next day be like, oh, I understand what you was trying to tell me. Or I understand what you was trying to teach me. You know? And what I do for myself is when I'm working on a project, I will work on it for a little bit and then I kind of get the feel as to, okay, how long do I think this would take me to accomplish? And then I will set a deadline for myself, but I will give myself room just in case some things might happen because this is life and you never can call what is going to happen from day to day. But just in case something happens in between the deadline that I set for myself to complete the project. So that this way, I won't be upset with myself. I can have patience with myself in between, you know? I was having a meeting with another project that I'm involved with, and one of the people that's a part of the project said how he's at a place that he doesn't want to set deadlines. He just wants to be creative and then let it see where it goes. I think that's great. Sometimes you just have to do that. You have to just be creative, let everything flow, let your energy flow, and then your spirit will know the time, will know the direction you need to go, will know exactly what you need to do. All because you was patient and you just let everything flow the way it needed to flow. You didn't put nothing on it. You didn't think about it. You just did. A lot of times that's what I do. Sometimes I just do and see where it's going to go. I was talking to another friend of mine's yesterday, and one of my exes, and helping him out with some stuff. And he has an awesome clothing line that he's dealing with now. And he was saying how he just started it up and just started wearing stuff and it just started catching on and he just was waiting to see how it would pan out. And now, some months later, he's really passionate about it and this is something that he knows he wants to do. That's exactly how my clothing line started out back when I was sewing. I just wanted to design clothes. And I just used to make the clothes for me. And then I started going out there and wearing it. And then everybody started asking, where did you get that from? I was like, I made it. Next thing you know, people want to pay for me to make them something. And that's kind of the same way. And he's like, it's so crazy that that's really your lane. And then now I'm in it. But I was telling him some years ago that I think that was something that he would be good at. And this is like 13 years later, he finally started it and he realized that he is good at it. And sometimes, with people, like I said, you got to be patient. You can see things in them that they can't see in themselves. And so sometimes, because we can see it, but they can't see it, we might lose our patience and say, I don't understand why you can't just do this or why you're not doing that. That's something that I know you will be good at. We could say that to our kids. A lot of times we get like that with our kids, and you just can't. You can't lose patience. Hey, hamburger pimp. I usually forget about the chat. Thank you for joining us. So glad you came on the show. But yeah, sometimes we can see things in our kids. We can see that they have talents and they have gifts. And we're like, we want them to do that thing, but that's not what they want to do. And so we lose our patience with them and we won't listen to the thing that they want to do. We don't support the thing that they want to do because we see a certain thing in them that they're not willing to try out. A lot of times parents are guilty of that. I remember my son telling me when he started college how a lot of the kids said that they were taking up a certain major because that's what their parents wanted them to do. And so when kids go to college and they're doing something that you want them to do because maybe you wanted to go to college for that, or maybe there was something that you wanted to do in your life when you were young and you never got a chance to do it. So now you're pushing that off on your kid instead of listening to them and embracing and supporting the thing that they love to do. So if they're artists and they love to paint and they love to draw or they love to play an instrument, you're trying to tell them, oh no, I'm paying for your college, so you better go to college to be a lawyer or to be a doctor or to get into computers because that's where the money is. But if that's not their passion, that's not their dream, that's your dream, then you wonder why a year or two later they drop out of college. Now that money is on you or money on them. And then even if it's on them, then that's messed up because they went in there taking loans out because of something that you wanted them to do. That's not a good thing. You can't blame nobody but yourself for that. When my son, I asked him, I said, do you want to go to college? Because either way, I got your back. I support you. Whatever your decision is, because this is your life. And that's the same thing I tell my daughter. This is your life. You already started college. You have these loans to pay back. You're going to have to pay them back. So this is your life. This is your decision. You have kids now. You have to be patient with yourself. I know you get frustrated because you got kids and then you go to work and then you got to come home and you got to do all of this stuff to prepare them, do homework, feed them, get them bathed and washed. That's a lot, especially on a young person. But this is what you signed up for. So now you got to do it. So now you can't neglect yourself because, see, if you don't finish your degree and you got to pay back them loans and you're not making the money that you were supposed to make because of what you were taking up because you didn't finish, what sense does that make? You're putting yourself in a deeper hole, you know? Unless you go out and get into a field and, you know, like me, and get licensed for certain things that you can make more money. But if this is what you want, you need to complete it and you need to have patience with it. So I told my son, getting back to my son, because I kind of went off on my daughter, but I told my son, you know, whatever you want to do, it's fine with me. He said he wanted to go to college. I'm like, okay. We was really patient about the process, you know. I did a mad search for colleges. I don't believe somebody's knocking on my door. I can't answer it right now. But for colleges, maybe, hold on. Come in. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, somebody brought me some food. So the reason, I'm going to get back to my son, but the reason why um, somebody brought me some food, because me and one of the people I'm helping with the project, we said we was going to do a water fast. And I really stuck to mine from yesterday. Now, I'm not going to lie, I did cheat. I had a piece of chocolate. But this is, again, having patience. He broke his. He ate a long time ago. I still didn't eat anything like food. I just been drinking tea and drinking water from yesterday to today. So this is going to be my first meal. That's so funny. But anyway, so back to my son. See, this is some real stuff. Back to my son. Yeah, so he said he wanted to go, and I did a mass search. And what I asked him was like, what do you want to do? What do you want to take? Because he's talented and he's very gifted. He can write. You know, he has a couple of books out right now. We self-publish a few books. If you haven't heard from the other podcast shows, when he was 15, he completed his first book, and we published that at 16. And then at 16, he took the summer, and we published his next book at 17. And now he's 19, he'll be 20 in 2 more months. And he's working on his third book. So I was thinking, okay, maybe he might want to make writing his major. But yet, when he was 15, he built his first computer from scratch. He wanted this nice gaming computer, and it was very expensive. So he said for his 16th birthday, he wanted me to buy the parts so he could have it done by his 16th birthday. And that's what I did. So that was 2 different areas that he was very gifted with. And so he could have went either way. But what he wound up choosing was computers. He chose the computers on his own. He did research how much money he did pick it for the money. But he really loves dealing with software and computers and coding. And so that's what he chose. And his minor is Japanese. Go figure that. But he was patient with himself. He looked at everything and he realized, okay, in Japan, they deal with computers a lot. So he wanted to learn how to speak the language. That was his decision. I'm thinking, okay, writing, because you have these books out, you really need to write. You need to learn more about writing. But they have a writing house in the school where they bring authors in to help the kids. So he's still winning. And he's still writing. He has the professors there to help. So this is what I'm saying about when you be patient with yourself, when you be patient with your kids or your loved ones, your people that you have relationships with, everything works perfectly at the end of the day. Even though you think it's not working out perfectly. I could have been like, well, no, you need to take writing because you got these 2 books out and you really need to learn more about writing. You know, I could have been like that. But I'm like, this is his life. So whatever he decides to do, which the computer thing is the best choice, definitely going to pan out very greatly. But this is what we need to learn to do. We need to learn to have patience with ourselves so that we can know how to have patience with people and with things. When I first started building websites back in 2009, it was like a foreign language. But now here we are, 2018. Man, I could put a website together in no time. But I had to have patience with myself to get to that point. I had to have patience when I was messing up and when I was, times that I messed up a whole website after I put a lot of work into it and something went wrong. The website broke and I had to rebuild it all over again from scratch. But guess what? It came out better than it did the first time. When I used to sew and I used to make clothes for people, I could remember a couple of days before somebody's prom, I was pressing the dress with the iron and I burnt a big hole in the dress. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I don't have time. I had other clients I was working on their stuff too. Man, I changed that design so quick. And how about she loved it? She was like, oh, I like this more than the last design. How did you come up with this? She never knew. To this day, she don't even know I burned a hole in her dress. And that's how she got that design. This is what I'm saying. When things happen that don't go your way, that don't happen at a fast pace, that you want to happen right away, a lot of times that's for our own good. A lot of times that saves us from something bigger that we might not be able to get ourselves out of. So I'm at my 40-minute mark or past, but I'm just going to leave y'all with this. Anything that you decide to embark on, rather be art, rather be dance, rather be sports, rather be new job, career, your first time with entrepreneurship, be patient with yourself. Be grateful and be thankful for what you do know how to do as you go into that. Know that if you just take one step at a time, one little step a day, you do one little thing a day that you work on to enhance, you get better at that one thing and then add another thing and then add another thing. But don't rush yourself because you want to master whatever it is you set out to do. And when you master something, it means you have to take your time. Think about it. People that go for a master's degree, they don't get that right away. They have to complete one degree to get to the next degree, the PhD degree. You have to get all these different degrees before you get to that degree. And I can remember one show I said PHP. Just understand that's a type of coding. My mind was on website building. But just don't be too hard on yourself. Things will work out, just the way they are supposed to. Just the way they are meant to. And believe that. Believe it in your heart. If you're doing things out of a right heart, then things will work out perfectly. Okay? So, with all that being said, this is Adionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from yourself, saving you from the world, saving you from some real bullshit, saving you from losing your patience with yourself and with people and with things. And you are listening to Chronicles of Living podcast show, the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. You know us normal folks. You know what I mean? Hamburger pimp. And I just thank y'all all for y'all support, for sharing, for liking. I really appreciate you guys. You are the reason that I keep coming on. So, until Wednesday, I was getting ready to say Sunday, losing track of my days. Until Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern time, I will talk to y'all then. I love you guys. Peace. Thank you for listening to Chronicles of Living, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. And if you are pursuing your dreams, I'm proud of you. Because the best part of life is when you decide to live. To keep up with us, please visit chronicles-of-livin-podcast. Until next time, this is Adionne, your dream pusher. I love you guys.